January 18th, 2017, Calvin Castine on a snowy, but going to be clear today after all is said and done. Mid-January day, and we're at the North Bowl Lanes, just outside of beautiful downtown Plattsburgh. And this time of the year, a lot of people are thinking about bowling, so we thought it would be nice to, if we came here and found out about this family tradition. We're going to find out who these gentlemen are. I'm not used to looking up at everybody I talk to, but I guess it's going to be the case today.
John Munson.
Bob Munson.
And Dan Munson.
You may have noticed they've all got the same last name. Are you guys related?
A little bit. And we're missing our sister Patty, who's very important in the business, but she's off today.
Patty who?
Patty Caldwell.
Okay.
So she's not here today. So.
On purpose?
I don't know, maybe. She doesn't like the camera, I don't think.
Or maybe you guys didn't invite her.
No.
She got the invite.
So who's the boss?
Lots of bosses.
Lots of bosses.
We have four of us that are
all four.
bosses.
All of us have our own categories. So
Categories. But when you have to make a major decision and it's split 2-2, what happens?
we don't open the door till we figure it out.
We always come to a conclusion. So.
Dan, are you the eldest?
Yes, I am.
Even older than your sister who's not here?
Yes, I am. She's second in line.
All right.
We're right down the row.
Yeah, you're
I'm the
right down
youngest,
there,
he's the
baby.
middle, yeah.
All right. We are here at, you could drive by here now and not necessarily know there was a bowling alley back here.
That's true.
So for people who may have done that and not realize it, I can't imagine that happening, but I imagine it has. The Cumberland movie theater, what's it called?
Cumberland 12.
Cumberland 12 is out on Route 9. So I guess I'm going to talk to you guys individually here, otherwise it'll be a one spot thing.
All right, very good.
Don't go away, though. You're all going to get your chance.
We were all ready to run.
When I get to the tough questions, that's when you're going to get them done.
That's good. I like the easy ones.
This is a family business, Dan.
Yes.
Who started it all?
My father bought it as part of a partner in 1966. And then he bought out the other people and ended up it was just him.
Okay.
By the early 70s, he was the only owner.
Was it North Bowl when he bought it?
Yes. Yep.
How long has it been here?
1958.
58.
Yep. It was owned by Sports Arena originally.
Okay.
And
Anybody locally named?
No. It was a chain that put it up, and then the corporation bought it in 1966.
Okay. What made him decide he wanted to do this?
Just as a interest, he wasn't going to run it or anything, and the man that was going to run it ended up dying 3 days after they bought it.
Wow.
Perry Ladd. So then it pretty much fell on him,
Okay.
He was in the trucking business,
Okay.
and he got out of that in the 70s.
Your father's name?
John Munson.
John Munson.
Still alive, 88. Yep.
He waited till the last one before he named one after.
Yeah.
Wanted to make sure he got it right before he named one after himself.
There you go. I like that
That's a
story.
family story.
That's the story we get.
Okay, so I assume he's no longer active. Is he?
No, he comes down very seldom now.
So you don't get as much advice as you used to?
Oh, we
years
still
ago?
get advice. We still get advice. He wants to know what's going on.
Now, has this always been the physical location of the building?
Yes, always been here. Yep.
Now, 66, at that point, the North Country Shopping Center was going, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was probably one of the biggest shopping areas in the North Country then. Grants, Greens, Esquire Drugs, the A&P. Yeah, we kind of miss it. It was easy.
Yeah, a lot of traffic there.
Yeah, plus we could run over there and get just about anything we needed at any time.
Yeah.
They had a bank, which was nice.
Well, I imagine a business like this, you're running to the bank all the
Yeah.
time, depositing that money.
running to get money.
Okay, so are all four of you employed, and is this your entire employment, or do you guys have work anywhere else?
That's where we all work.
All work here. All right.
Yep.
So bowling has changed. Now you talk about that corporation that owned this place before. I know when the Beaumont Lanes came in Champlain, it was the guy Levine out of the Crossroads restaurant in Moira who put that up. And that was probably before your family got involved in this, because I know it was going strong in '66, because I went there and listened to the Falcons out of Malone and a few others. And
Right. Yeah, they were big into bands back then.
yeah,
Remember going up there for music. Yeah.
the Golden Bowl Lounge.
Yep.
It's before my time.
Mine too.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if Dick Cole and those guys bought it from Levine or somebody else had it in between. I don't really know.
I'm not sure how that happened,
I'm
but
not sure when they bought in.
Yeah, but
Dick had it for quite a while.
yeah, Dick Cole and a few other friends of his bought a whole bunch of bowling alleys, and
Yep.
that was one of them. And they went in hot and heavy in the bowling business, and now for the first time in my memory this year, it's not open, and I don't know if there's any plans for the future, and but it's unfortunate. But Plattsburgh Lanes was very active for many years, and
Yep.
that's
Once the base went out, yeah, that really hurt them. It hurt bowling in the area because a lot of the airbase people bowled, quite often. They were big into bowling.
yeah, if you bowl at one spot, you might go to the other.
Yep,
and-
yep. Tournaments and stuff, they always bowled with us too.
And the air base had 2 bowling centers also, on one in the old
Yeah.
base, one in the new base.
Yeah, right there. So it took a lot of bowling people out of the area, and of course we got to be honest here. I know one of the things that didn't help the Bowl Mart was the crackdown on drinking and driving, and they're right out there in the open. And I heard a lot of stories about people just happened to be leaving and hadn't crossed any lines or anything, and
Yeah.
saw the lights and said, "Oh, what have you been doing?" Well,
It's difficult, but
Yeah.
we find people more responsible now, like in the mornings, some mornings, we come to work and there's 2, 3, 4 cars that were left here overnight. Taxis, ride home, with friends or whatever, and it's tough, but it's the law, and that's,
well, yeah,
So it's a good law.
and it makes
Saves
the-
lives.
makes
Yeah,
the- makes the
certainly,
roads a lot
certainly a
safer.
good thing,
Yes.
so,
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
it is tough on business, but in the long run, it's definitely better for the public and safety and everything, so,
Yeah.
you know.
So we're here on it's a Wednesday morning, and no leagues yet. What time does the league start?
our seniors come in at 12:30.
12:30.
They bowl at 12:30. They'll start coming in around 10:30 this morning. Have their coffee and visit. It's for most of them, it's a little competition, but the social aspect for them gets them out of the house, and it's their day. That's their calendar revolves around it. So
Yep.
Those are the seniors who haven't yet. In today's paper, it said the wee bowlers are in the North Country are the most. So they sit there and look at the computer and make the motions. So these are the seniors who haven't yet evolved to wee bowling, right? They're still physically.
not
getting
yet.
out.
Yeah, they're still physically able to do it. We have some of them that are 55 and others that are 85 that'll be bowling today. We have 16 teams of 4 people on a team. They bowl today at 12:30.
So you got to be at least 55 to bowl.
50 or over.
50 or over.
Yeah. And
We actually
In the
had
senior
Chet LaValle, who I think you've done a story on
He
before.
was my uncle. So.
Yeah, Chet bowled till he was 99.
Did he?
Yep, and then he finally had to give it up at 99, but that was pretty impressive, 99 years old. So, yeah, so that was probably the oldest bowler we've had in a number of years was Chet.
for a
but-
regular league bowler.
yeah, so, yeah. So you can do it at any age. That's the beauty of the sport.
Yeah.
You can do it from the time you're 2 to 99.
But not
so-
at 100. 100, you got to hang it out.
If you can make it to 100, that's pretty good. Yeah.
I know he shot his age in golfing one year. Did he shoot his age bowling, I hope?
Yes, he did. Actually, he was still a pretty good. He probably averaged in the 140s, I bet. Even at 99, yeah, he was still doing all right.
he was
Yep.
buying new bowling balls and
Yeah, he actually.
He's still investing in bowling balls.
Kind of a funny story. He came back here, I believe, when he was 93. He moved back from Arizona, and he came in to buy a ball. Well, when he was 93, he really looked 75, 70. And he wanted to buy a ball, and he said, I don't want to get anything too expensive. And I said, well, no, I can, put you. And he said, well, how long do you think I'm going to bowl? I said, well, hopefully for a while. He said, I'm 93 years old. So he bought a ball, and he actually bought 2 others between 93 and 99. So he underestimated how long he was going to be bowling. Yeah, but he was quite a character. He's still, Chet's still he was a character to be around, and his son would come in, and his son, Bruce, we know well too. So,
Nice family.
great family. Yeah, for sure.
So you keep track of all the balls that people buy here? You mentally know every ball? If you bought a ball here, they know about it.
Yeah, I have a good memory for bowling balls. Don't ask me what I did yesterday, but I can tell you what somebody bought 3 years ago.
John runs the pro shop and takes care of all of the needs for equipment for, I'd say, 90% of the bowlers in the area for sure. So.
Okay, so that's one thing I should ask is, you're the boss of the pro shop?
Well, I run the pro shop. I do all the drilling and, all the selling and buying and everything else. So, yeah, I run the pro shop part. That was actually something that was just going to be part of the job, but it's really evolved into being very busy in there. So I spend a lot of time in there now compared to what I did before, so.
Or is he just working slow? Is that?
That could be it, too. Maybe I'm hiding in there.
Slowing down with age.
But we running the drill.
Turn it on, then sit down. But we do that, and we all work the counter still, and I do a lot of the advertising. I do the advertising, stuff like that. So, yeah, so we all stay busy. We all have enough jobs to keep us busy for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Bob, what's your job?
I oversee the machines, make sure they're still running, keep them going. I got a great staff down there. Got John Osborne that's been with us for, he started work here in the 60s. Then he moved on to a full-time job with Shazy Westport Telephone. And when he retired from there, he came back part-time. That was 20 years ago. And he's still with us. Tony.
He's older than Chet.
Older? No, not yet. He had his birthday yesterday, but Tony Burkhart works down there for us, and Ben Frederick, and they're the ones that keep them going. Send the balls back, and
32 lanes.
32 lanes, yeah. And
What's your sister's job?
she's in the office. She takes care of the office from just about all the bookwork for the business, and she oversees the staff in the bar and the lounge, snack bar, does the ordering for that part of it. Then Dan and I do some of the office work, helping her out, and like all our league reports and stuff like that. So it's a family, it's a team effort with a family, and family businesses are great most of the time.
Never any arguments, Dan?
We have our arguments. Yeah.
Tell me about the juicy stuff.
Our deal is when the meeting's over and we walk out, it's over with.
Still family.
Yeah,
We're
we're
still
still family. That's right. And it's hard sometimes. You know, we've been here, well, I've been here 43 years, and they've both been here, you know, since they've been 18. So it's it has its ups and downs.
Yeah.
But
So what's your main job?
I do a little bit of everything. I think my main job is to watch them. Then I report to Dad.
That's a full-time job.
That's a full-time job.
It's tough with these little iPhones now.
Oh yeah, yeah. Everything.
You gotta be on your guard.
Yes, you do. Nothing goes unwatched now. That's for sure.
It stays busy, so it keeps us, you know, with school leagues, and we now have Northeastern that since Bolmark closed has come down. So we have 5 schools here now, high schools, so that keeps us very busy in the afternoons, and so we don't have a lot of time to do too much during the day, or, you know, we're always busy with there's always somebody out here at the counter, and it's a busy time. So summers are a little slower. We do play a little golf, and we get away a little bit in the summer, but in the winter, we pretty much everything is bowling related that we do. So
Well, you gotta spend that money sometime.
yeah, all that money, yeah.
Okay, so who decides what hours you've got? I mean, you've got your hour open 7 days a week here, and so
We're
who
open
decides?
from, you know, basically 8:30 in the morning till, during the week we're open to 11, and on the weekend sometimes it's 1:30, 2 o'clock. So it's long days, but there's some fun involved. So
So you pretty much got your hours all set, all of you?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know
For all of us, yeah. And we have the 3 of us that work out here with the customers a lot. We have a rotating schedule, and it's not a set schedule, but it's a set rotation schedule. So we try to get every 3rd or 4th weekend where one of us are off completely, and it's a fun business. That's what we enjoy. People are coming to have a good time and enjoy themselves, and stopping out with. We've had 4 generations of people come and bowl at the same time. You know, the baby, the parents, the grandparents, and the great grandparents. It's fun. It's fun to see that.
Yeah, we have a lot of, like, now, one thing that's changed a lot in bowling is before it was about 3/4 was league bowlers and 1/4 was your open play. Now they've pretty much come together. It's almost 50-50 now. And that's a trend nationwide. You know, league bowling has gone down, decreased. Open play is where you try to make it up. And with some specials and stuff, we have a lot of really good people that come in now that are almost like league bowlers. Like our Tuesday night special, we have the same groups come in for that special every Tuesday night. They get 3 hours of bowling on the shoes for $10 a piece. We have families come in. We have, you know, couples that come in. And that's the fun part about running the business, is you get to meet a lot of good people, and it's nice to see those same people coming back and enjoying, you know, having some family time. And we'd like to have them all leave their cell phones at the door if we could, because it's funny now, you look down some of the leagues, some of the teams, there's 4 people on the team, they're all at the table and they're all on their phones. So, you know, that takes away a little bit from what we're trying to kind of give the community. And, you know, you like to see them all kind of having a day out together or a night out. But that's some of the things that have changed, you know, over the years, is it's certainly more geared towards open play now than towards the league bowlers. You still try to take great care of your league bowlers and keep all of them, because they're very important. They're always the backbone of your business. But on the other side, you need to kind of, you know, take advantage of that, of the open play that is out there now. So
fill in those.
yeah, and you do a lot of things like an ATM machine, 4 soda machines. You know, you try to make money in every square foot you can now, because you don't have that league bowling base that you used to have. So I think we've done a pretty good job of making those adjustments and changing with the times, you know, instead of trying to just...
No, you can't
know.
sit back and say this worked 20 years ago.
Exactly. What worked 20, 30 years ago, you know, my joke with my father, and when he sees this, he'll laugh about it, but my joke with my father was, in the 60s and 70s, his marketing strategy was to unlock the door. You know, he unlocked the door and the people were waiting to come in.
And
Now our part is to go out and grab people and pull them in. You know, you
Get
really,
interested at a young
and we do that with group outings, with school outings, with business outings, and that kind of stuff gets people in the building that normally may never come in. And if they come in and the place is clean and friendly, maybe they bring their family back. You know, maybe little Johnny that was at the birthday party goes home and tells his family, and you hope you cultivate some bowlers by bringing people in that normally wouldn't come in the building. So that's changed a lot over the years.
And you
for
touched
sure.
on the birthday parties. That's a big part of our business also now, where we have anywhere from 4 to 6 or 8 birthday parties a weekend, sometimes as many as 10 or 12, or, you know, we'll be hosting 50 to 200 kids on a weekend for
Wow.
different birthday parties, you know, and they come in, they have fun, the parents see they have fun, they want to have their birthday party here, and, you know, or they come back and bowl the next week because they had a good family outing, good, you know, fun, so.
Yeah, and you know, you could talk about you're dealing with the public, so even if you just got done an argument with somebody, you're not in a very good mood, and you
Right.
come here and you're behind this counter,
You better
right.
you
smile
better
and
leave
greet.
that other thing
Yeah.
behind, because
Absolutely.
That customer is one, you know, first impression is everything, and
Yeah.
we always, you got to just leave that. Sometimes it happens, but, you know, you just move on. You know, try to make that person happy and do the best you can, so.
And that is one thing we do, is we are part of our schedule, we rotate Saturday and Sundays. So one of the 3 of us is always working the counter unless something is going on, but 95% of the time from September to May, one of the 3 of us works all day Saturday, all day Sunday. And that's because that's when you get a lot of the new people in, a lot of the new families, you know, things like that. And we want to be kind of in control of how those people are going to be treated. Not that our staff doesn't do a great job, but it's nice for them to see one of the owners and kind of get to put a face with the business. So we've always been pretty conscious of that and tried to be here when it was, you know, the right time to be here. So we've turned the nights over a little bit more on the weekends too. My son works a lot of those, so, but he's very friendly, so we're fortunate there.
I was going to touch on that when you said your son. I mean, my daughter's worked here in the past, Johnny's son, Danny's son, and now Danny has a grandson. So we have great-grandpa, grandpa, the next
Four
generation. We got
generations.
the 4th generation that's working here part-time. He's, Keegan's in high school, but he's working.
he's
Johnny's
tall
son.
enough to.
Yeah, he's tall enough. He's taller than
Every one of our
Yeah, I think
kids
all of
have
them.
worked here at one time, yeah.
all of our
Yeah,
kids.
my 2 and Bobby's 2 and Johnny's 2 and
Patty's
Patty's
daughter.
daughter, yeah.
Yeah.
They've all worked
They
here.
all-
And the
one time
beauty
or
of
another.
it is whenever one of our kids works here, normally for the most part, I think Ryan's probably an exception, Sarah, but we try to have one of the other ones be the boss of our kid. Kind of makes it, you know, better that way. So, Bobby could say something to his nephew, or I could say something to my niece, or, Danny could say something to, so it's kind of works a little better like that.
And they all know that when they start.
Yes.
That way you can still have dinner together.
And speaking of that, what happens if you've got a family function and the four of you are all tied up?
Family functions are planned mostly in the summer when we can all be off. Yeah, it's very hard in the winter. We do close on Thanksgiving and Christmas. We close. It's hard to ask our employees to work, and like you said, we want to be with family on those days.
So whenever you guys were getting married, you said, "Oh, got to marry you in the off season."
That's right, absolutely, for sure.
And we all did.
And another thing this is another thing we should touch on a little, is what's been so great about our business, is we have people that haven't worked here in 5 or 6 years. And if we have something crazy go on that, maybe a funeral in the family or something, we still call some of these people. And they'll say, "Sure, I'll help you out." And they'll come in and work for 4 hours for us or something. So it's nice that the people that do get done work here, for the most part, are still our friends. It's always on good terms.
For the most part,
And yeah,
often explore that.
There's always going to be a few. But for the most part, those people will still, when we're in a bind, because we always, our employees are like family to us. And, I think they feel that, and they'll still come back and help us out at times. So when we do run into a bind where all the family has to be gone, we don't have to look very far usually to get somebody to help out. So that's nice.
Yeah.
That's really been nice over the years, so.
Even our employees' Christmas party, we have
Yeah.
people that haven't worked for us for a couple of years, but we tell them, hey, still come along, bring the family.
We might need you someday. So how many employees do you have, not counting the four
Seasonal, we have between 20 and 30, usually. In the summer, when it's slower, we're open mostly in the evenings. It's 15 to 20, but without family. But generally, this time of year, 20 to 30, including the both. We have two separate businesses. One is the restaurant, and then the lanes. So.
Well, the lanes can be open without the restaurant, but the restaurant's never open without the lanes, probably, or is that
Right.
true?
Right.
Whenever, if the snack bar and the lounge area is open, the lanes has to be open.
Oh, really?
For us, that's the way we operate. So.
Yeah,
Okay.
always done
Yeah.
that.
So, but the bar separate? Bar's open?
It's a
No,
separate business.
It's a separate business, but it has at least the same hours as the lanes. If the lanes are closing, the bar's closing. So.
And then during the day, like a Monday, we don't usually have the snack bar open during the day. They usually open at 5 o'clock.
Well, we
If
have
it's
no
slow in
hours.
here, we don't. When the kids are out of school, then we make sure everything's open, because it's busy. But for the most part, days, Monday, Thursdays, that's not open till later in the day. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, it's open earlier because we have day leagues. So when we have day leagues, we always have it open. Yeah, so.
Going bowling is kind of like the movies. You go to the movies, you have popcorn. You go bowling, you're gonna have French fries. That's
Poutine, they all love the
yeah,
poutine.
yeah. They gotta have
That's
that.
something that, I'm trying to think, Mike Tobin opened up a place in Champlain called Steamies, and he brought in this French-Canadian delicacy called poutine. And this was probably in the 90s. And now it's really caught on this side of the border.
Yeah,
But
a lot of people have it.
until he did that, I'd never heard of it.
Right.
But now it's a staple here.
Oh, it
It's
is.
It's like Michigan's,
Yes, yep,
Yes, it is.
Yep,
And-
very, very
And all
true.
it takes is one customer to get it, and they walk down through with it. They sit there, and they have 2 or 3 forks in one dish, and the next table all of a sudden has one, and then the smell just,
Well, you have a fan that blows the
Yeah.
the aromas around.
the aroma. Yeah.
Now, I got to tell you might have a new bar coming in next door to you. Are you aware of this? No. We're listening to the radio on the way down here this morning, and in Governor Cuomo's budget plans, he's talking about having movies theaters sell alcohol.
Oh, they had talked about that
Yes.
at one point, about that, yeah.
A couple of years ago, Craig, the manager next door at the movie theater, had said that they were, researching it and seeing if they could do it or not do it, but I don't know. I don't know if I'd.
I will
how
say
that
one
would
thing. Alcohol, we have a lot of people that really enjoy it. 99% of the times we have a problem in here, it's usually somebody that's had a couple drinks. It's never the sober person unless it's a domestic thing, it's usually So, yeah, it's
Not
good to
gonna-
have it, but on the other side, it can be a
Knock on
problem. We
wood,
don't,
we've had very few
yeah,
calls
we really, and knock on wood.
in the last 15,
But,
20 years.
we really stress the family part of it. We just don't, we've never, my father never did, and we don't put up with that kind of stuff. So, if you're strong and you're forceful about it, people, especially league bowlers, they get the message and they understand. And we want people to bring their kids in and feel welcome and not have to, worry about anything like that. So,
Well, even if you don't have any kids, you don't want to.
absolutely, no, absolutely. You want to enjoy the day, and so that most of our customers are like that, and it's a great thing. So,
And the non-smoking thing really helped our family part of it. We noticed that people used to come in and they'd be near somebody and they didn't want to be in that.
Uh-huh.
And when they passed that, at first everybody said that's going to hurt you, but it really did help. I mean, family-wise, Saturday and Sunday we get loads of families.
And we promoted it that way, that it was now a clean, family fun environment, and people really respond to that. So.
and the three of us are non-smokers, so we liked it too.
3 out of 4?
Yeah, 3 out of 4.
We won't say who the smoker is.
And another thing to touch on, we had a fundraiser here for North Country Cancer Fund Sunday, right?
Yep,
Sunday.
Yeah, I saw that.
And 6 hours, they raised $12 or $14,000.
I didn't get the final number, but they had 290 bowlers over a 4-hour period. So it's a great thing, because if you're familiar with the North Country Cancer Fund, all the money stays local. So if somebody has travel expenses, if it's something, they'll write a check. So it's a nice thing that there's a fund there for people locally that are having trouble, traveling if they have to go to Boston or something like that. And this fund takes care of all that type of stuff for them and helps out. So it's a super day. It's probably our favorite day of the year, because not only is it busy, but it's for a great cause, and there's so many people in the community are here, doing it. So it's really a great
As you
day.
can see over the lanes, all the ads, those are all sponsors of the North Country Cancer Fund that we put their ads up for 2 or 3 weeks to leave them up there. And,
Okay.
and they support that. Last year they did raise over, I think it was 14,000, and they're hoping to do a little better this year, but we haven't got the final numbers yet. It's just a great day for the community.
And I know it was personalized in a way, because I saw a big banner with Tom Kowalski's name on.
Yes.
And, so some
They
families
usually
and so on.
dedicate it to 2 or 3 people that.
This year was Tom and
Big Earl Moore.
Earl Moore,
Big
Earl
Moore, yeah.
And was it
There was one
Robin
other-
Branham?
Robin Branham.
Robin
Yeah.
Branham, those
Yeah.
three.
So.
Yeah, but they, that's who it was dedicated to this year, which was nice. And I believe there was family members of all of them here.
Yes,
bowling
yeah,
that
there
day
was.
also.
Yeah.
So.
And they have, there's a lot of like restaurants get involved. Thinking like Ground Round, different places that have
Butcher
teams,
Block.
and Butcher Block, and all the different companies and stuff from the area. A lot of them have teams. The Moose Lodge will have teams. The American Legion, and they have a little bit of a grudge match, and so it's just a fun day. It really is a good
Weathercock
day.
and Shazy had,
Yeah.
I think 6 teams this year.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
Yeah.
it's a fun day. They're having fun. They come in. It's a 2-game tournament. They bowl 2 games. Scores don't count for anything. It's just it's a fundraiser, and everyone just has a good time. It's a nice crowd.
It's the kind of thing that makes you happy to be in business. That's a happy day. You have those days that are rough days, and you're like, why am I in this? And, why did I ever get into a family business? And then you have a day like that kind of picks you up, makes you feel better, So it's a good thing, yeah. for
Especially
sure.
when we know, like, even some of our regular league bowlers have benefited from, the North Country Cancer Fund.
Yeah.
It's a good, and, you can go online on their website and check it out and get information on it if you need to.
Yep, for sure.
Okay. So your hours right now, you said 8:30, you open the doors?
Usually about 8:30 till 11 during the week and 1:30 on the weekends, yeah.
So people want to come in and bowl, like we've got people walking in right now?
Yes, we do.
Just right on cue, just as we said that. So we're gonna shut this off for a moment and let these people get their shoes. Come on in. We just had some folks come in, and we've got, I think, 2 lanes or 4 lanes.
Yep, 4
busy.
lanes,
4
yeah.
lanes busy.
Yeah.
And they all needed shoes. You ever run out of shoes?
Sunday we were on borderline with the North Country Cancer Fund. We were close because we had a lot of people that weren't league bowlers
So they didn't have their
that
own shoes?
needed shoes. So we were close to running out, but we made it.
You're a size 7, can you fit a size 12?
Yeah, we teach our guys, if they ask for 7 and you only have 7.5, you just give them 7.5. Don't even go through the whole, oh, we don't have that. So, yeah, so it worked out. We ended up with enough, so that was a good thing.
Well, that's got to be a bit of an expense. You must have to inspect them so you know when to replace them.
Yeah, and one thing we do that we've always done over the years, we try to change them often. I mean, they're not real expensive, and the first thing that you give somebody when they walk in the door is a pair of rental shoes. And if they're all beat up and ripped up, their first thought is going to go along with that. So we try to. I also, I know my brothers pick on me about being kind of perfectionist, but I even tell my guys on the counter, when you go, take the time to grab the best pair you can. If there's a brand new pair, don't grab the pair that's on the edge of us getting rid of it, grab the good pair, So little things like that, it's kind of a business of small things, all the small things that you pay attention to add up to either being successful or not being successful. So I think it's a lot of the small things that you need to pay attention to. And that's, a simple thing, but it makes a difference. So.
Okay, for those of you joining us late and can't read the little insignia on John's shirt, we're at the North Bowl Lanes, just a little bit north of Plattsburgh, fittingly north of Plattsburgh.
Yes, absolutely.
It would have to be the South Bowl.
South
if you're
Bowl,
on the
yeah,
other,
for sure.
On the other side.
There's no plans for a South Bowl. One's enough.
So not North Bowl, not to be confused with the North Pole.
Right, exactly.
Even though it's like Christmas here every day of the year.
That's right.
Now this is your domain here.
Yes, I spend more time in here than I ever thought I would now. The pro shop has grown. Obviously, we have, all the bowling balls. I think you were just taking a picture of. We try to display usually between 80 and 100 of the bowling balls. I could display probably 500 with all that are on the market. Our distributor is very good, so I can order bowling balls at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and my delivery, UPS, is very good also. And I can have them here by noon some days and have them drilled the next day. So that's, that makes me look good, but really it's the people involved, the middlemen, that really help out a lot. Pricing wise, you can get anything from a plastic ball at $69.95 all the way up to $214.95 is the most expensive that I do.
I see one with 1050 written on it.
That's 10 pounds, 10 pounds.
Oh.
That's all the weights on them. These are more of the plastic ones. And then you can get into, more expensive, and all of that changes, as far as hook potential, hitting power, different things as you go up in price. So, and picking out the right ball for the right person is one of the most important parts of my job. The way the person throws the ball really dictates what kind of ball that they're going to be better with. So,
what kind of ball? Outside of the weight, what difference does it
the
make?
difference
If I can
is,
quote
the difference is as you get into the higher up balls, you're dealing mainly with reactive resin bowling balls. There are 3 types of.
Reactive resin doesn't mean anything. to
It
me.
means it's a grab. It grabs the lane.
Okay,
So
the rosin is like a
Right,
rosin bag
right.
for the.
exactly,
the
and
pitcher.
the older bowling balls that went from plastic, rubber actually, to plastic to urethane, and now it's a reactive resin urethane. The reason for all the high scores nowadays is the equipment. The bowlers haven't really gotten that much better.
Oh, you're
but the
thinking- you're
equipment, the equipment, it's just everybody, your best bowlers now are 230s. And back
Compared to
20 years ago, 190, 200, and a lot of that was the ball. Now, I could go into this so in depth, but just simple way is to think is a urethane ball would bleed energy off all the way down the lane. So by the time it got down to the pins, maybe it had 30% of its energy left. The reactive resin urethane is made specifically to save energy in the front of the lane when it's in the oil, so it slides a long ways, and when it makes the turn, it probably has 70% of its energy. And that's why there's so much more hitting power, so many more strikes than there was even 25 years ago.
So it doesn't interfere with your aim. I mean, having more power isn't going to change the direction of it?
No, the aim is still good. You get away a little more with your mistake area because urethane, when you would get in the oil a little too much, it wouldn't hit because it, didn't have enough power. The reactive resin bowling balls, have so much power that even when you keep it in the oil, a lot of times you can still carry, you know, a 10 pin or carry a strike with it. So that's what's changed so much over the years with the bowling industry. Drilling too has become more complicated, so.
So I think what we're looking at prices, you said as low as $69.95
Yep.
behind us, but I see 109, 169, and
Yeah, and
in
that-
the mid 200s. So it kind of depends on the price is going to correspond with the average you want to hit. Is that it?
Not really. Now that's a good question, but that's really not true, because I'll tell you, like, somebody that throws the ball very slow, to sell them a ball that's at the top of the level, that's very powerful, can usually be a deterrent to getting high scores, because it starts to burn off energy too quick, and the ball can be a little bit flat on the back end and not hit as hard. So maybe that bowler that throws the ball slower might be something like a Match Pearl that's $139. So that's where the person picking it out for you, and my job is to try to make sure that I pick out the right ball for the right person, and, you know, put the right ball in their hands in order for them to be most successful. So sometimes people will come in and want a $200 ball, and then when I'm trying to sell them a $130, they're like, well, why are you doing that? I'm not that good. And I'm like, no, it's just, that's the right ball for you. So
You have them go out there and throw a few?
yes, usually everybody, you know, if it's an entry-level ball or they don't have their own ball, sometimes it's harder to do that. But somebody that's a little higher up, average-wise, and has their own equipment, usually I always start with having them throw some balls, watch them throw it. You see how their ball migrates down the lane. There's a positive access point you get off that ball too, and that's how you kind of drill the ball, is off of that point. And so that the more information you have as a ball driller, the better chance you have of scoring a home run for him and picking out the right ball.
So, but the ball is really personalized, because you're going to take that person's hand. So what works for my hand isn't going to work for your hand, because you go by the
Exactly.
where your fingers are going to, individual fingers
Right.
are going to go. And
Yep, and we do all that. All that is included in the price when you buy the ball here. We do all the fitting, all the drilling. One thing that has changed a little bit over the years is, before we were more stretched out, a full fingertip grip. Now it's a lot more relaxed. And a lot of that has come, I believe, through the equipment. Nowadays with the equipment, you want the ball to get more spin on it, so being more relaxed, you tend to get a little more under the ball and be able to spin the ball a little bit more. Back in the days of urethane, you really wanted to, you know, you saw a lot more people right behind the ball and more end over end. So as the game has changed, as the equipment has changed, our drilling and our fitting ways have also changed with the equipment. So you kind of just see things migrate together like that.
so there's nothing here on the shelf that we're looking at that a person could come in and buy that and go out and bowl. You can't.
No, you'd have to put the whole,
None
yeah.
of these are holes, but
No, no.
But are these individual ones for sale? Let's say the
Yes.
guy wants to bowl, and I want you to.
Yep, absolutely. I have a lot of, I've had a nice following now, a bunch of great people from, like, I have some people from Canada that come down for bowling equipment. I have people from Mariah, Willsboro, that area. A lot of people come up for that. So people like that, I try to turn them over the same day. The ones that I've known will call me, and maybe we can talk it over on the phone about ball. I can order it, have it the next day, so when they come in, it's already here, and I can kind of have them, get them in and out the door with the ball in their hand. So when that's possible, I try to always do that. And maybe it's going with a different ball, a little different direction that's similar to something that I want to get them, in order to be able to do it that day if they're, you know, if it's important to them to have it that day. We'll do that. So.
You have shoes too?
Yep, we have shoes. I don't carry a lot of shoes and bags anymore, and the reason I don't, first of all, the internet coming into play. The other thing is I can get them so quickly. So somebody picks them out in the book today, I have them here tomorrow. So you don't need to carry that inventory like we used to. My father, 40 years ago, there used to be 10 different bowling balls. He had 30 or 40 of every ball, you know, the weight and everything in stock.
Wow.
Bowling shoes was the same way, you know, he'd have maybe all the sizes of 5 different pair. Now there's so many bowling balls, so many bowling shoes, so many bowling bags. You can't afford to carry that kind of inventory, and nor do you want to, because why tie your money up when you can get it so quickly? If it was something you're going to wait a month, you may have to go down that road, but we really don't have to do that. Fortunately, again, I have a great distributor, Ace Mitchell. Mike Rose, the rep from there, they do a fantastic job getting my stuff quickly, so that really helps. Makes me look good, but so that's a good thing.
Now, bowling balls used to be like Model Ts. They came in black and black.
Yes, absolutely. And I still have some of the older bowlers come in, and they want black.
No, they want
And they
a
don't,
black
you know,
ball.
they look at the wall and they go, I just want black.
I just want a darn black
So
ball.
somebody like that, maybe a soul, you know, I'll sell them something that is more of
Does it have that writing on?
old fashioned. Yeah, the writing kind of comes with it, but I'll try to do that. And I have people that do that. They come in and I don't want all those colors. I don't want, you know, I don't care if it has a scent. Like all the Storm balls have a scent to them. Pineapple, bubble gum, don't ask me why, but they all do. But they don't want any of that, you know, they don't want the frills and all, so that's fine. And
So, yes, off camera you told us that some of these balls have an aroma to them. Does that last for years, aroma? And Julie's gonna tell me
some
stop
of them,
waving my hand.
some of them do, and some of them don't. I use all Storm and Roto Grip bowling balls, so the Storm company has all of the ones that have a scent to them. I've had some that I've had 3 years that are still really strong. You use it in a tournament, that's all you can smell your hands. You know, you can wash your hands because that's all you can smell is the scent.
Sounds like you use one.
Others, oh yeah, I use them a lot. And then the others are, you know, they could lose their scent a little bit after maybe 6 months, or you can still smell it, but not quite as strong. But it's a crazy thing. I mean, I don't understand why they started doing it, but it's.
Well, I think it was a spouse's idea.
It
Your
might
spouse
have
said,
been.
So you're out bowling, I want to smell your hands.
That
better smell like the bowling
That could
ball.
be it. That could be it. That's one way to track them. Yep, that's for sure.
So what's the different weights? How light and how heavy can you get a
We
ball?
go anywhere from 8 to 16. That's another thing that's changed a lot. Is back 30 years ago, everybody used 16 pounds. Now, a lot of guys use 15 and 14. Another reason for that, the newer balls are more powerful. Ball speed is a little more important. You know, you don't want to throw it really fast, but you want a little more ball speed now with the newer equipment. So guys are going down in weight to create a little more ball speed. Also, the hitting power of the 14 and 15s. Every test that's done with a robot throwing the ball the same, the best carrying as far as carrying strikes weight is 14. It doesn't mean everybody should have 14 because you may throw it too fast throwing 14. Like I throw all 15, but it has gone down in weight now because you don't need that extra weight like we used to. You know, before that was the difference between maybe carrying that 10 pin. Now the heavier weight can actually be a little bit of a deterrent because the ball hooks so much harder now, it can go right by the 9 pin or an 8 pin, and you can leave some of that stuff with a 16 pound compared to 15. So I would say the top 30 bowlers in our center right now, I don't know if any of them use 16. I think all use either 15 or 14, which is a change from, you know, I always used 16 until probably 12, 15 years ago. So that's changed too. Been a lot of changes for sure.
Now you got one missing. Are you sold out of that one?
That one actually, that's one other thing that's changed. They discontinue balls left and right.
Oh.
So the ride and the joyride have been discontinued.
Oh.
I sold the ride, so I'm waiting. When I sell the joyride, I'll replace that with a new line. I take a lot off the wall. I discount them and try to keep my wall fresh. It's not always possible because there's so many new ones that are coming out from time to time. But I try to keep the wall impressive when people walk in. And I can get anything, whether it's on the wall or not, so people pretty much know that now, for sure.
Okay. But for people who've never bowled and want to come here and bowl and don't have a ball and don't have the shoes, as we said, you rent the shoes.
Yep.
And you also have balls.
Yep, and you can get into like a Scout right here. The Scouts, there's 3 different colors. Those are $89. That's a really good entry level. You know, for somebody that's never had a ball, or kids that are starting out and maybe they're going from plastic to the next level, they can get into a ball like this for $89. So that's not too bad, you know, to start out. And it's a reactive resin ball. It's a milder reactive resin, so it's not out of control for the bowler, but it's a good starting point. And over the years, it's kind of fun to watch, especially kids, go from a Scout to maybe a tropical Storm ball that's 109, and then they get into the $139 ball, you know, maybe later on, and then by the time they're a senior in high school, maybe they're up into the $160, $200 range, and you watch them progress with the ball, and that's fun to see. You know, it's fun to see the kids improve and get better, and as a ball driller and as a person selling them, and having bowled for myself for so many years, I get more joy, I think, now out of seeing somebody drilling a ball for somebody. I had a gentleman last Tuesday night had a 300 game with his new ball. He's only had it 3 weeks. That's awesome. You know, I get more thrill out of that, I think, now than having one myself. It's fun to see somebody do well with a new ball and have them be excited about it. So that's a good thing. Now, when they bowl bad with a new ball, that's not a good thing.
No.
So I
blame you?
work, yes, they do. And I work with them, and I have them come in, and I may change the surface on the ball, but I always do everything I can to make it good for them. So you certainly don't want somebody bowling bad with it.
Now, when you're drilling, it's important to get it right. How often do you
Yes.
make
Yes.
a mistake?
Well, we're all human, you know, so you're going to, the thing with thumb holes, I normally, if I err at all, I err a little bit tight on the thumb hole, and then we just work it out, you know, with a hand sander, and then I work it out by hand a little bit until it's perfect. So the key is you never really want to go big. You know, once you go big on a thumb hole, there's nowhere to go. You know, you're using tape or something. So I usually always err a little tight, and I always get these expressions when people come in and they put their thumb in and they like, oh, it's, you know, and I'm like, don't worry, that's fine. And then we just work it out until it's perfect, because a lot of people are in between sizes. We also do oval thumbs. You know, a lot of people's thumbs are oval, they're not round. So I do all that. On the drill press that we have is all digital. I can, you know, carve out one corner there to make it a oval fit so it fits perfectly. So we do a lot of different things like that. We do switchable thumbs. You can take the thumb hole right out of one ball and put it in the other one. There's a locking mechanism. So we do a lot of different things, molds of thumbs. So if somebody has a thumb hole they really like, I make a mold of that thumb hole, and then when they get a new ball, I make a mold out of that and put it into the new ball so everyone's perfectly the same. So there's a lot to it, and a lot of stuff that's changed over the years, all for the better too. So
My point was, a little earlier though, was you have balls here.
Yep.
That are bowling alley balls that people can just
yes,
use.
we also have the ones out there. Yep, and when we upgraded a lot of the facility with new lanes, everything else, we also upgraded all new house balls. They're all color coordinated by weight. They all have the number on the side of what the weight is. They also have small, medium, large for the fingers, and that's all right on the ball and says it. The old days, the house balls were balls that, oh, I don't want my ball anymore. Oh, okay, good. We'll put it on the rack, and that's what the house balls were. You know, they were people's old balls that you threw out there on the rack, and that's what people use. So when we changed the look of the center and tried to make it more modern and that was one of the things we did. We threw out all those old bowling balls, and we brought in new balls that are all easier for the customer to, you know, to work with and to find before you're going through every ball trying to find the right one. Now people that come in a lot, they'll say they need a red medium. They know what they need. They go over, they get a red medium, and off they go. So, you know, little things like that makes the experience for the customer better. So we've tried to change a lot of that stuff. There was one thing I wanted to mention.
Well, let's mention
And
it.
I'll tell you why, because I've been trying to get the newspaper to do some stories on this, and I don't think this kid has really gotten the right thing. But this young gentleman right here
right.
is Jonathan Bowman,
There we
okay?
go. Jonathan Bowman.
And he bowled at Peru High School.
Yeah.
He graduated 2 years ago.
Okay.
And this trophy right here,
Right here. Here's his Bowman trophy.
he was a Dexter All-American, high school All-American. Now what that is he was one of the 5 best male high school bowlers in the nation. Okay? Out of the whole nation, he was in the top 5. He's now going to Wichita State, which is the mecca of college bowling. They've won more national titles than any other school in the nation. And he's as great a bowler as he was and is, he's even a better young man. And you know, this would be comparative to a basketball player from here going to Duke, a football player going to Alabama. You know, that good and that huge, and he really hasn't gotten enough publicity for it. He's in the for all the sales, you know, you get a sales magazine every year with all the companies in. His picture's in there for Dexter in their thing. There's 10 of them, 5 girls and 5 boys. He's in that, and just a phenomenal bowler. Something that we'll probably never see from this area again in any sport. Probably the most prolific high school athlete around here as far as achieving that level in a sport.
In his sport.
In his sport. So
That's his actual trophy?
That's his actual trophy.
You won't give it to him?
They gave it to us.
They gave it to
Yep.
you?
Rick gave it to us to display here.
Oh.
You know, so he's left it here for a little while now for people to see, and I try to always tell everybody that comes in, you know, a little story about him, because like I said, he really hasn't gotten the publicity that he deserves for it. It's something else. He actually just won a tournament. There's the junior gold tournament in the summer. I don't want to I think there was 1,800 or 2,000. There was a ton of bowlers in the tournament. He finished in the top 16, and he also won, I think it was the DV8 tournament out there. That was one of the big singles tournaments that went along with it for all high school and college bowlers. He won that this summer. So it's something else. I mean, it really is amazing that this kid has gone that far.
And he owes it all to you personally?
No, actually, I got to give his father a lot of credit. His father, Rick Bowman, works with him a lot. He's a coach. He's a registered coach. He runs our junior program, and he did a phenomenal job with him. The kid is really, and like I said, as great a bowler, he's a better kid. He is just a super kid. I think he's going to school for engineering or something like that, but he's something else. So I wanted to make sure and mention that and give him a little, because I think he's been a little shortchanged around here for publicity.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yep. I've tried to get the press to do a story a few times. I emailed back and forth, and I really, it doesn't, sometimes bowling gets a little bit shortchanged,
Right.
with the publicity, and it's too bad because he's worked as hard or harder than any athlete around here. I mean, he'd come in here and bowl 20 games. He worked on his game all the time, was always, going to camps, going to tournaments.
I thought bowling was fun. Now you're telling me it's work.
It's work at that level.
Oh.
At that level it is, yes. And that's another thing, the pro bowlers, they are so amazingly good, what you bowl on. And, what we were showing you before, the oiler that we have, the oil conditions you bowl on as a league bowler are much easier than the pros bowl on. So when you see them on TV and they're bowling 180, they're bowling on a very tough condition. It's not a house pattern. On a house pattern, none of those guys would ever throw 180. So it's hard when you can't see what's on the lane. So it makes it a little bit different. It would be like playing Pebble Beach and playing Bluff Point. That's pretty much the comparison. Big difference between the thing. And he bowls on all tough patterns now. That's what they bowl on. They work out. I think they go to the gym an hour, 4 days a week. They have practice sessions 2 or 3 hours a day. I mean, it's a full-time activity being a collegiate bowler like that. So he's quite a story for this area. Really something for the area to be proud of, for sure. Yep. All right.
Okay.
So there, I'm glad I was able to get that in for you.
Well,
I just happened to look, and I'm like, I need to get
the
that
Bowman
in.
family would be happy
Well,
about that too.
they deserve it. They really deserve it. They're a great family, so.
Okay, anything else in here, John, that
No,
the
we have
world
some.
needs to know?
No, so we have plenty of accessories, and like I said, anything people want, we can usually get it within a day.
All right.
So, all right,
All right.
okay,
Judy and I are going to move on.
all right.
We have made our way to the back. We're here with Bob Munson at the North Bowl Lanes, and I just saw a whole bunch of pins fall there, Bob. What's happening?
Yeah, the customer just threw their ball, knocked down the pins, and there's an electric eye that the ball rolls across. That starts the machine. The sweep will come down. Then it triggers the automatic scoring, which reads how many pins are still up. It tells the computer and puts a score up on the scoreboard. They just rolled a strike, so it set a new set of pins, and then it feeds all those pins back into the machine. They're constantly moving. As far as the bowling pins, when they're feeding the pins, here comes another ball right now, and it's going to hit a few. Okay. Sweep starts. Then the machine will go down and grab the pins that are left standing. Sweeps off the pins that are laying there. Sets the pins back down, and everything goes back up to zero. I'm waiting for the customer again.
You've got a blend of electronics and mechanics here. Did it take you a while to learn all this, Bob?
Yes, it did. Started down here with my dad many years ago. These are AMF pin setters. They are known to be electromechanical, where it is a combination. I'm impressed by your knowledge of these old machines. These were installed in 1959. Most all of our parts are readily available. This past year we did buy 20 machines from a bowling center that was going out of business just for parts. We're always using them, always inspecting them, trying to keep them going, and fixing anything that's broken or out of alignment before it causes problems. Obviously, you can't always do that, but try to always keep them going all the time. You can see the bowling ball going, so it comes up the ball lift and goes back to the bowler also.
So when I'm recording a bowling match and you have trouble with a pin being reset or a ball returned, it's your fault?
Yeah, you can blame it on me. With a lot of moving parts, the bowling pins flying around, when some of these young kids throw the ball really hard, they fly up, they'll bend something out of whack or send a bowling pin flying up over the top and getting in the way of the bowling ball, so the bowling ball's not be able to go back to the customer. When they push the little button that turns the light on for the mechanics, the mechanic come out, clear the pins out of the way for the ball to send the ball back, or straighten up the pins so we can set them back down for the customer.
Now, you mentioned this was installed, was it this AMF was installed in '59?
Yes, sir. We were on the start of the electric machines where they had no pin buoys.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that you have to be on the cutting edge here, because I graduated from St. Mary's in Champlain in 1964, and I know several of my friends used to make a few dollars by being a pin setter. There used to be a bowling alley across on River Street, across from where the Knights of Columbus is in Champlain. Yes. And I know Rouse's Point had a bowling alley with the liquor stores there now, and a lot of communities had a couple lanes of bowling.
Yeah, I was never able to bowl where there was pin buoys. Wish I could, just for the feel of it. They said it was you'd have to be very quick to get out of the way of some of the guys throwing the bowling balls. My dad tells us stories of when they would get done their league matches some nights, the pin boy was doing a really good job. He said we'd roll quarters down the gutters to give them tips and stuff. He said
Those good bucks back then.
yep, it was had a lot of people working also at that period of time in our country. But these at the time, they were cutting edge, brand new machines installed by Sports Arena, and we try to keep them going. The newer machines are a lot more lightweight, not as strong and durable as ours, but they are more cutting edge as far as electronics, sensors, switches, all of that stuff.
Now you've got 32 lanes here, Bob, and I know the Beaumont has 16. Are they usually in multiples of 8 for bowling alleys, or is that just a coincidence?
It's just a coincidence. They generally are at least in even numbers. Nowadays there are some bowling centers where they'll have like 23 lanes or 16 or 17, but they're not all set up straight across. They'll have like 2 or 4 lanes together. Then they'll move them at a different angle for another 2 or 4 lanes. They're set up, as they're called, boutique bowling, more for small groups, high-end food, not set up at all for league bowling or tournament bowling. We try to keep that blend where we can still have our open bowling and continue to host tournaments and our league bowling.
So 32 lanes to fill. You do need a lot of bowlers here, don't you?
Yes, we do. That's we try to keep as busy as we can. As you can see, and we've talked earlier, our family not only owns the business, but we work the business. One of us are generally here every day of the week, except for the summer months when it's slower. But usually, if you come in during the daytime, you're going to see one of the family members here for sure.
I know back in the old days when the Bowl Mart was going strong, Jim Tierney was working there. He'd have youth bowlers coming in on the Saturday mornings, and he was working with the Youth Commission. Is the youth bowling still happening at all?
Yes, it is. We still have our youth bowling program every Saturday morning. They bowl at 9 a.m. It's not, the numbers aren't as high as they were in the past, but we still have close to 100 kids every Saturday morning bowling. And now at this time, January, the first Sunday in January, 8 weeks of bowling. The town of Plattsburgh offers a free bowling program for the children. They have to be in school age, not college, but school age. Generally from 5 up to 18. They get 3 games of bowling. And North Bowl, our family, we donate the shoe rental, so there's no cost to the families to come in for the children to bowl. If the adults want to bowl, they pay a fee. The town of Schuyler Falls also has the same program, and that's 9 a.m. Sunday mornings, and that runs for 8 weeks for both the town of Plattsburgh and Schuyler Falls.
Well, the sooner you can get the kids involved with the sport, the more likely they're liable to still be around as adults.
Yeah, we try, and we know bowling is a lifetime sport. Like you say, we have children bowling here that are 2-3 years old, and adults such as Mr. LaValle that were bowling until they're 99.
Now, I wanted to mention it, but we got off on another subject there when I think it was John who mentioned that he looks down the alley sometime and people with their little iPhones and stuff. I was at a basketball game last night in Chazy, and I looked to my left, and there were 6 kids there at the basketball game, and 5 of them were pushing the buttons on their iPhone instead of talking to each other or enjoying the game.
Yeah, and we try to, talk about that when we have customers or families in bowling where you'll see some of them using their phones. A lot of times it seems a lot of the younger adults are, but once they start interacting with their family, mom, dad, sometimes with grandma and grandpa also, and they're all bowling, having a good time, socializing. We just feel we need much more of that in not only our community, but everywhere. People just talking and getting along and not having
interacting with each other.
Yes, and we've had kids that are bowling, and we watch them, and they're texting each other, and they're sitting there side by side, and you can see them. One of them will send a text, and the other one starts laughing because he got the text, and turn around and talk to them.
Yeah, it's a different world. All right, anything else down here, Bob, that you think we should see while we're back here? I probably won't be back here for a few more days.
For a few more days, yeah. Well, hopefully you will at some point. No, but we could also one other thing I wanted to mention. In the year 2000, we put in all new synthetic bowling lanes, and that's a cover that goes over the lane. They look and stay new, clean all the time.
You look at a lane when we talk about it?
Yeah, we'll show you one on the way up.
All right. Not a lot of people have seen the North Bowl lanes from this angle right here, Bob. You're talking about the new surface on the shuffleboard table here?
Yes, it is. It's well, I say new. It was new in the year 2000. It's a synthetic surface. It's approximately half an inch thick, and it's a laminate. Goes right over high density laminate where it's compacted. I forget exactly what the pounds of pressure was, but it has to be very durable to withstand the bowling balls hitting it, dropping on it, and rolling on it all the time. Right now, they still look as new as they were when they were installed. At that time, when we did the new lane cover, it went over the old lane, so that solid foundation is still there. The lanes were sanded to be in specs of the Bowling Association's requirements that they have. They were screwed down to the lane surface. When we did that project, we also put in all new PVC gutters the capping on what you see between the lanes, the white covers, and our bumper system, which we installed. A lot of places only put them on certain lanes, certain areas. In the bowling center, we were making investment not only into the business, but for all of our customers. If they come in and they have children that want a bumper, in years before the 2000 install, they sometimes had to wait, half hour or an hour to get a lane that had the bumpers. Nowadays, they just fall down, we pull them up, we have them available on every lane. So if we have a lane available, we have a lane for the children with bumpers available.
What are you talking about with bumpers available?
It's the rails that go up on the side of the lane, and we pull them up. They fall right back down into the gutter surface. I don't know if you can see this area, but
they don't go in the gutter.
Yep, they fall right down. The ball actually, if it is in the gutter, will roll partially on the bumper when it's down. When the bumper is up, the ball cannot go into the gutter. So when the child, or even some of us adults, if we're bowling with the children and the bumpers are up, we roll the ball. It's supposed to go in the gutter. It'll hit the bumper and stay on the lane surface, so they get pins. They don't get discouraged.
That 7-10 split?
We have had that happen a few times. We had a gentleman in the league just pick up the 7-10 last week without the bumper. But
in all the high school games I've covered, I've seen a perfect game once, but I never saw a bumper.
Yeah.
I mean a 7-10.
With the 7-10, yeah. That's doesn't happen too often.
No.
But
have the pins changed at all over the years, Bob?
the pins, the only change it made is about 15 years ago. The lightest pin could be at that time is 3 pounds 2 ounces, and they raised that to 3 pounds 4 ounces. Our pins are all in the 3 pounds 6 ounce range, which we'll be getting new pins delivered in this summer for next fall again. So.
All right. Anything else that we should talk about while we're back here?
Not here. I think you got a bird's eye view of everything from here.
All right. So we're going to move on. This is something that was operating when we arrived today, and we're going to take a look at it. And maybe Bob will tell us what it does. Whoop. I'm going to take down the bumper. In fact, it's going to take down all the bumpers here. All right. What's this little robot going to do here, Bob?
Well, this is it's cutting edge technology compared to the old mops and the spray cans that we used to use many years ago. This machine here has like two, they're almost like inkjet printers. There's one in the front of the machine that actually puts down a row of lane cleaner. It goes down in the lane. Right below that is a cleaning cloth. That every lane has a new piece of cloth that it touches to clean the lane. And the next part is a squeegee that is on the lane, and it sucks up the cleaner so it was completely dry. And on the back side of the machine is another printer, like inkjet printer, that puts down the lane oil onto a black brush, which then goes onto a buffer brush. Sounds pretty simple, but it's over a 42-inch wide bowling lane that is 60 foot long. A lot of people talk about the oil and it's too oily or not oily enough. Each lane, there's less than 3/4 of an ounce of oil applied over that whole area. So you have to get it precise every time. You have to be very accurate with it.
Is that 10W30 or what do you use?
No, this is it's a company that we buy from. It's Kegel, who makes this machine. It's expensive. It's approximately $175 for 5 gallons of oil. And the cleaner is a little less expensive. It's about $150 $5, plus you're able to dilute the cleaner. This machine here can take my laptop, like when the high school bowlers are going on to the state competition. Now they announce what the lane pattern is going to be. I can go on the internet, download that pattern, download it into this machine, and this machine will put down the same pattern that when our high school kids go to competition, that they're used to that pattern. They can practice on it, try to learn how to play it, and hopefully help them out in state competition.
Now you program this. It was you three guys were up there when we arrived, and it was doing its thing all by itself.
Yes,
Didn't
it
need
is.
you to. So can we see that right now?
Absolutely. Yep, it's completely computerized. It's robotic. It's, like I said, it's cutting edge technology. I'll start it up, and we're going to be putting down our regular, what we call our house pattern.
Okay.
This is what we put down 99% of the time.
Okay, this is the North Bowl exclusive house pattern here. This looks like the secret recipe at McDonald's. This is a secret recipe.
There's multiple speeds in the machine. It's a lot of times we'll be able to change the speed of the machine, which will make it put more oil, less oil. There's also, for the cleaning area, if you want it to clean a little better, you can slow it down. There's the options on this machine are just phenomenal. That it's
You might have nights when a couple of lanes haven't been used very much. Can you program it so that it is unique for that day's operation, or does it do the same thing every day?
No, we will do it, and we can start it on any lane we want. You just, when you're starting it, it asks what lane are you on. You have to verify what lane that you're starting the machine on, what lane you want it to go to. And like right now, I'm running just this pair. We call it burning a pair. When we start the lane machine, we always run the first pair twice, just so all the cleaner, fluids, oil, everything's flowing correctly the way it is. If it's not going correctly, the machine will shut down and tell us that there's a problem. We just upgraded it to lithium batteries last week. We can do approximately 60 lanes now without having to recharge the batteries. Knows right where it's going all the time. We can also, you may have heard, like on some of the pro bowling tournaments where they have a pattern called like the cheetah or the chameleon. Again, we can download that pattern and put it right into this machine, and you can actually bowl on the same lane pattern that the pros bowl on, which is a much tougher lane pattern than we see here at all.
Now, is your pattern unique, or is it?
Yeah, most bowling centers have to, like what works at one place may not work in another place, depending on the lane surface, how old the lane surface is, whether the lane surface is in really good shape, or if it's beat up and not taken care of. May have to use something totally different. Also depends on your bowlers. Some places they try to make it so you have to hook the ball a lot to be able to score. Others set it up where only the straight shooters. And what I've been able to do with working with a Kegel company, Doug Dukes is the gentleman that I work with out of Florida. We came up with a house pattern, which is a blend where we have everyone from the kids to the ladies, men that hook the ball a lot to people that don't hook the ball very much, where they can all score. And we could make it much easier, but we still want to have some integrity where you can You
Yeah.
still have to hit your mark within a couple boards.
You don't want everybody bowling
No.
300 games.
No, well, I mean, I wish everybody could. We could make it easier, and we could make it a lot tougher, but we try to keep it in the middle where it's fair for everybody. If you bowl a good game, it's a good game.
So are all the lanes basically the same then?
Yes, when we went to the synthetic surface, they were, at that time, they were all, I say, dialed in, where the little increments, where they check them, were all, I mean, basically all the same. Through time, with all the bowling balls hitting them, they do change. But every summer when our lane crew comes in, we always have them go through and run a check on all the lanes to make sure that they're all back in tolerance and everything's legal and fair for the bowler.
Now, do people come in here and they prefer a lane, see a guy bowling on lane 21 and 22? Some people come in and they just want a certain
Oh
lane?
yeah, we have some customers that, no, I do not want that lane. I never bowl good in that lane, and it's the lanes are all done the same day in and day out. Some lanes do play differently, whether it's and people don't understand that. In the summer when it's 95 degrees outside and the air conditioner's on and here running, the lanes will play differently than when it's five below zero outside and the heat's on. Just the
Now-
nature of the beast.
Do you try to keep it so that all the lanes get roughly the same amount of use? Do you try to
Yes.
look at that so you don't have some lanes that are just overwhelmed with the bowlers? And
Yeah, we do. We try to balance, like, most of our leagues start on lane 1 in that area. So we try to keep most of our open play on the high end, this end of the bowling center. So, and we have reports that we print out, usually on a monthly basis, and it gives us the usage on how many games have been bowled on, each lane.
So we got to send more people to 25 and 26 here. It's not being used
Yes,
enough.
exactly.
All right, lots of very interesting. I don't suppose the robot would settle for an interview here.
Well, I don't know. He doesn't speak too much. He does his job daily, doesn't complain. He's
Perfect employee.
always ready to go.
Just put a little oil in him and he's ready to go. All right. Anything else, Bob?
No, I'm good. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, thanks. So we're going to take a look inside here. This is another learning curve for you, huh?
Yes, it is. From the old technology that we had, and this is on our Kegel Lane Walker lane machine. It's a very expensive piece of equipment. We have approximately $35,000 into this one machine. There's 7 different motors on it. The drive motors, which drive it down the lane. Vacuum motors, there's motors for turning from lane to lane. Obviously, you can see the amount of computer components in it. There's a lithium battery, which is new on this unit. We also have the fluid metering motors. They're the same type motors that they use in hospitals for metering the amount of oil that is put onto the bowling lane. Is the same as that they can use for dispensing medicines at the hospital through their IVs and stuff like that. And that's how accurate this machine, that when they built it, that they want it to be that way. So you can see why it's such an expensive piece of equipment. It is touchscreen. We can hold 30 different programs in it for the lanes. We can adjust it by, inches of how far it's oiling or distributing the oil. Just an amazing machine.
So you could set it up so it would do lanes differently, where you like those high school bowlers who need a certain pattern. You could set
Yes,
up a
yes.
few lanes for them.
Yep,
And then
just
leave the others alone.
with the using the touch screen, it's you can change a program. There's so many different programs that you can use. You can adjust the program whatever way you want to do it. For our health pattern that we put down daily has not changed since September at the beginning of the year. Some of our bowlers claim that it has changed. This has not changed, and like I say again, the atmospheric conditions
Yeah, the
just
weather.
in the bowling center. When you switch from air conditioning to heat, then it's raining out for 4 or 5 days, humidity's up. It does play a different in how the bowling ball will travel down the lane.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, Dan, Judy says we are ready. We're with Dan Munson. We're still at the North Bowl Lanes in north of Plattsburgh, and we're in the bar part. Quite a bit of seating in here, Dan.
Yeah, there is. We seat probably about 60 people, and we have the bar, the restaurant, sell food, snack bar type food. Nothing. We don't do dinners, but we do homemade soups 3 or 4 days a week, and we have specials. Our seniors are starting to come in now. They like the soup sandwich type thing. They all come in early and eat.
Oh.
So it's just another part of the business.
Oh, so if you just want a soup and sandwich and don't want a bowl, you can stop in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. We have great homemade soups.
Made at home or made here?
Made here.
With a homemade recipe.
Yep. We only use them, usually we, at the end of the day, if there's anything left, we get rid of it. So it's a one-day thing.
You don't take it home with you?
No, well, once in a while. Yeah,
would.
once in a while.
I would. So, and you have, you said you had birthday parties and so on. Where do you have those?
Those come with the bowling. We do $12 per child. They get an hour and a half of bowling shoes, hot dogs, chips, and soda.
And they eat their...
Yep, we do usually about 8 or 10 of those a weekend.
So they do it right outside?
Yep, they do it out there. We set up a spot for them, and they bowl, and then they have their food after.
Okay.
Yep.
Can they bring in cake, or do you have to...
We let
cater
the
whole thing?
parents bring in the cake and ice cream. That's the only time we let other food come in, because we do have the snack bar.
Yeah.
And
So if they want chips or things
yep.
like that, you gotta buy them here.
Yep.
And drinks and so on.
it works out pretty well. The parents like it. The joke is they don't have to clean the house before the party, and they don't have to clean it after. So
So they don't tell the kids, don't make a mess.
no, they let them just have at it.
And the bowling alley will clean
That's
the mess
right.
for
We
it.
clean the mess.
Now, the lights are on in here. Now, this normally you said opens at 5?
Normally at 5, yes. When the seniors bowl, we open the doors. Some of them may have something, and like I say, but seniors, it's mostly food, mostly eating lunch. And
Now, you talk about seniors, and you talk about a bar, and first thing that came to my mind is you haven't got to check for IDs, but
Not-
that's become a real problem for...
it
folks.
has, we.
I don't know an 18-year-old from a 23-year-old.
Oh no, it's much harder than it used to be. And we bought these license scanners. You scan their license, and if the license isn't isn't good, it won't scan. So we all our bartenders take the tips course. We pay for that, and they take that, and it makes them certified to, ID people. And it's really a good course. It tells you a lot about what to look for and stuff. So we do that, and we're pretty vigilant about it. We try to do the best job we can.
Yeah. And the snack bar, there's no place to sit in there if they want to...
There's 6 or 8 stools out in front of the snack bar. Yep. Yep. A lot of people sit there.
Like a
And
diner, that type of...
yep, it's like a diner type thing.
Okay. So and the snack bar is open, what hours there?
The snack bar is open every day except Monday and Thursday. We don't have leagues, so we don't open it. But every other day it's open. Saturday it's very busy. We have the kids leagues, the junior leagues. They start at 9 in the morning.
So you open at 11 then?
We open that at 11 on weekdays and 9 on the weekend.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah, they do breakfast sandwiches and that type of stuff.
Well, who's in charge of that?
Pam Newell does most of our stuff, and Bev Pepper has been here for 40 years. She still works a couple days for us. She makes most of the soups and stuff like that.
Okay, so none of the the Munsons?
No, none of
oversee
us-
it in particular, just?
Well, my sister Patty does most of the overseeing of the restaurant part. None of us work in here. We're not cooks. We leave that to somebody else.
Okay, and it's handy, you got 2 doors that lead from the bar to the snack bar, so
Yep.
people can come in here, have a beer. Do you have draft? A
Yep.
couple drafts?
Yep, we have 3 draft beers, and
How about craft beers? That seems to be.
we have some of the microbrew beers.
Do you?
You know, there's so many of them now that you can't stock them all.
No,
So
there's
we
no
kind
way.
of go what our league bowlers want. If they ask for something, we try and get it because we know they're going to be here every week. But
How about local wines?
we do a little bit of wines. We don't do any local wines. Like I say, that's another field that there's just so much of it. There's so much of it now. So it's hard to stock everything.
Yeah, I know. It's just a lot of things to think about.
Yeah, just
And
the
you've got-
draft beers. There's so many that.
You've got a dartboard,
Yeah,
pool
we have
table.
dartboard, pool table, some 5 or 6 TVs, and we also have these TVs feed out there so people can watch the shows out there too while they're bowling. Each every 6 lanes there's an extra TV in the middle,
Okay, yeah.
so we can put the TV out there if the games are on.
They can't hear, but they can see.
Well, they can't hear it, but they
Ball-
can watch.
It's a
Yeah,
ball game. They can
Yeah.
keep score. They'll know what the score is.
yeah. That's why we do the sporting events out there because you can still know what's going on without hearing it.
Okay.
Yep.
Is it all on the same channel, or if
We
you're
can put-
watching the Yankees here and you want to see the Mets game, you got to go down that way?
No, yeah, that's the hard part is, each TV is one feed from in here, but we can change it if they want to. Sometimes that turns into a debate.
Well, especially if they're trying to change it from the Yankee channel. Right?
Yeah, you can't change it from the Yankees. They have priority.
Okay. Anything else in this neck of the woods, Dan?
I don't think so, it's pretty simple in here, and like I say, we try and do the best job we can to make it a complete operation. It's fun. Been a lot of fun times here.
Yeah. And like I said, earlier, you got to show up and you're ready to have a smile on your face, no matter what kind
Yes,
of a
you
day
do.
you had at home or whatever.
Exactly. Some days like you say, you have to put on that face. You're dealing with the public.
Yeah. And they won't remember the 150 times that you smiled. They'll remember
No.
that one time you didn't.
Yep, the one time you had that bad face on. That's what we tell our employees. Yep. Takes a long time to get rid of a black eye.
All right, we'll go outside and probably wrap it up with you and your brothers.
All right.
All right.
Sounds good.
Okay, we're wrapping it up now. We're talking with the Munsons. Let's see if I remember them all. John, Bob, and Dan.
Simple names.
John Jr.
Yes.
Dad saved the best for last.
That's right. Absolutely.
Now, I do have one complaint here. The bowl mart was handy because I was up above and segregated from the bowlers, and I could.
That's right.
But here I got to battle, with,
Yep, you're right in with the mix with everybody.
We want you to be part of the action.
and the lighting is the bowlers are dark and the lanes are bright. So you have to bring in some special lighting for me. Yeah. And when it's sectional time, get rid of those darn balloons.
Oh, I know.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to get a picture, and I got table filled with balloons sitting there.
Very true. Very true.
Busy day. That's a busy day. Fun day for the kids too. That's a great day.
And every lane is filled on that day.
Everyone, yep.
Yes, it is.
Yep, for sure.
Well, we appreciate all of you taking time. Some people like John took a lot of time telling us all about that pro shop. And once he started talking about those bowling balls, he just didn't want to stop. But
Love the sport.
is there any final thoughts, guys, that you're going to wish you'd said after I'm down the road a piece?
Well, I wish our sister could have made it today, but unfortunately she couldn't. And,
What's her name again?
Patty Caldwell.
Okay.
She's very important, does all the office work. She does a great job in there, so.
She does the book work, so
That's right. We got to be good to her. We don't get paid.
Pays the bills and writes the checks for us.
She signs the checks too, so.
I will say one thing, too.
just one.
Everybody out there,
Everybody.
give to Hometown Cable. This guy does an amazing job for so many years, and it only takes a little bit from everybody to really help out. So I know we've tried to live it in West Jay-Z to give you a check there from time to time to help out, because you do something that's priceless for the community, and really be nice for people to support it.
I
So,
think most people agree with you. It is priceless, so
Yeah.
so they don't support it. That must be what everybody's thinking.
maybe I used the wrong word.
Well, I appreciate you guys taking your time to do this, because I know you've all got busy schedules, and we enjoy having this story, because it's not just a good story because people learn about the ins and outs of a bowling business, but it's a good family story, because it's a family business, and it's a small family business, and the more of those we have, I think a better community is. I look at, I do sell ads up in the northern part up here, and I put stuff on Plattsburgh. There's no advertising, but I lease a channel up in the northern tier, and I look back at the number of businesses that have gone out of business in the last 25, 30 years. It's just incredible.
Oh, yeah.
And Joey Trombley and I have been doing a show for the last 5 years off and on Business Beat, and on Talking Business in the northern tier. And I started to reload those up to our internet site, and looking through them, about a quarter of the businesses we talked to in the last 5 years aren't there anymore. So anytime a business can be in business for 50 plus years, as the Munsons have here as the North Bowl, I think it's a good North Country story.
Thank you.
Yep,
Thanks to Mom and Dad who got it and passed it on to the next generation, and they're both still around, so I know they have a lot of older friends that they'd like to say hi to also. So thank you.
For sure.
Thank
And we
you, guys.
couldn't do it without our bowlers, so
That's right.
that's for sure. They're the backbone.
And get those young kids out here, get them to throw those balls. They'll even put bumpers up for you.
Absolutely.
Yes, we will.
Yep.
Maybe that's my secret. I needed bumpers. Maybe if I had a few bumpers the few times I'd bowled, I would have stuck with it.
There you go.
All right, you've been watching Hometown Cable's not Talking Business. This is Hometown Stories, and we've been at the North Bowl Lanes in beautiful downtown Plattsburgh, and Judy Castine's been busy running that camera for a good part of this, and we appreciate that. And we want to thank those of you who support Hometown